Hello everyone and welcome to spooky season. So this video is going to be fun. This is a palette that I've had for about a month or so before this, and I'm very excited to get into it. This is the look I created with this palette. This is the LA Splash Classic Horror palette. Look at the artwork, it's so stunning. It's like pin-up style spooky characters. I love it, and the back as well is also done. I just think it's so pretty. This is the little sleeve it comes in, which I have kept because I think it's also very cool. It's all the lightning and the classic heart in green foil, which I think is nice. This is the colour scheme. It's pretty much a rainbow. Like, I would consider this a rainbow, even though, I mean, yeah, it is a rainbow. It's a yellow, orange, red, green. You know, do your rainbow colours. It's all there. It's all ready to go. And a black, so you can deepen everything. It's all matte, so I don't normally go for all matte. I do like shimmer. I like having a shimmer look. So this is probably the kind of palette I would actually pair with pigments, with glitters, that kind of thing. And that's actually what I'm going to do in my 3 Looks One palette. I'm probably, because it's just the way I would tend to use this palette, so it's the way I want to use it. The first impressions, I want to get a first impressions of it, so I want to use the palette as is. But for my 3 Looks One palette, I am going to pull in pigments, glitters, fun things to add in, liquid shadows, all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. Also then, this is, because it's all matte as well, I did an all matte look now. Don't always do a matte look. But I love how it turned out. The pigment on it is really nice. I'm going to do swatches now in a second so you can see. But the pigment on these 3 that I used so far is very nice, and I have swatched the palette myself on my own, so I kind of have an idea. So yeah, let's just get into some swatches. Also, if you want to see this look up close, I'm going to do the look in the video, but you might not be able to see all the details. So if you want to see up close pictures of my eyeball, if you want to see up close pictures of my face ball, then my Instagram will be linked down below. Sometime after the video goes up, the pictures will usually go up. So yeah, follow that down below and you'll know when the pictures go up for this. So yeah. So as per usual, I'm going to do my swatches on my arm. I don't do eye swatches because I couldn't be bothered really. So we're going to start. We're going to start with the yellow up here. We'll finish with the black on the end. And the yellow is super bright, and this is definitely a neon style yellow, but like I wouldn't really consider it like a neon type of shadow, if that makes sense, because there is a difference in formula. Neons are usually quite powdery. This feels like a normal shadow. This one is called Toxic. I love the names of these. So let's get started. It's almost like a chartreuse yellow, if that makes sense. It's very pretty, really nice, quite pigmented for a yellow as well. Very soft sort of texture with that one. Next then is the shade Psycho, and this is like an orange, but it's not a full-on like proper orange. It's almost like a mustardy orange, like a yellowed down orange. I actually really like this. I'm very excited to use this. I do have an idea for this colour. And yeah, it's definitely like an autumn kind of orange, if that makes sense. Next up then is the shade Madness, and this is a green, and it's a very nice kind of green. You know how I feel about my greens. I feel like the tones of all of these colours work very well together, as in the depth of the colour. And you can mix and match them. So if you wanted to make that orange deeper, just add more of some red into it and that kind of thing, and make it as green or as orange as you want it to be. It's that kind of thing where you can just mess around with it and play around with the kind of colours. Then we've got the shade Curse, which is a super bright blue, and it is very intense, and I really like it. It looks like this. Like, you can see that they do swatch quite well, even for mattes, and I find mattes don't always swatch great on the arm. I find like shimmers always swatch much better. But look, that's it built up. Wow. For a blue, wow. Next up then is the shade Blue Moon, and this one is a little bit softer again, more so than the other one. So you may want to be careful. You'll probably get a bit of kick up with this in the actual, like on your actual brush. That's just me wiping the blue on my hand because I can't find my tissue. So I'm just doing that instead. I'm just going to build it up a little bit more. It's more like a leaning on a royal blue, almost like a periwinkle kind of blue, This one is definitely more, for me, like a truer blue, well, some people might say this is a bit more truer, but to me this is like the kind of blue I would be more used to working with, where this one is a bit more of like a periwinkle to me. So I don't know, but it's very pretty, very bright, really nice. Moving on to the second row, this is Zombie, which I have on my eyes right now. This one, when you touch it, it feels it has a bit more of a grit to it. Not greedy, but like just there's a bit more there. And it's one that you would build up. To be fair though, when I used it on my eyes, it's actually quite bright, like brighter than I thought it was going to be from just, touching it and playing with it. But just be careful, you might get a bit of hard pan with this kind of formula. That's a third layer there. So it is quite bright. And again, like I said, it's like that's it in there and that's on my lid. And it's just over normal primer. It's very pretty. Next then is the shade Nightmare, which I also have on my eyes right now. This one has a little bit of grit to it, but not as much as the pink. And this one actually, I wasn't sure if it was going to be deep enough to deepen this look, but it's the only dark colour I used on my eye. But you can see there, that swatch is really, really nice. Really nice. Very simple, very easy. I really like it. I'd say the only dud so far, not dud, it's not a dud, because on the eyes it actually works really well. But swatching wise, the pink doesn't swatch the best. Next then, the main kind of colour I used all over my eye right now is 13th, which is obviously a reference to Friday the 13th. They all kind of have a reference to something, like Psycho is Psycho, Madness is just, I don't know, Curse, Blue Moon, Voodoo I would consider to be Chucky, Nightmare on Elm Street, 13th, Friday 13th, Lights Out is actually a movie, so that's pretty fun. But anyway, let's move into it. So this one, I would say, it's a little bit less gritty than the burgundy. But again, on the actual eye, it works out really well. Swatches really nicely. It's a truer sort of red. It's not too pink. It's not too orange. It doesn't pull pink when you start blending it. You'll see it in the video, in the actual tutorial. It doesn't pull too pink. Then the one that everyone is always very skeptical about, which is a purple, especially a matte purple, because I've had experiences with matte purples. This one is definitely the grittiest of them all. And I feel like it's one I'm probably going to have to build up a little bit when it's actually on the eye. Yeah, you can see there. It does not swatch well at all. I'll try and build this up. We'll have to see how it works. I do have a plan for this colour, so we shall see how it works. I mean, it builds up okay. It's not patchy or anything like that. It builds up fine. It's just you have to build it up. I'm skeptical about that colour, but I think I can make it work. If it's anything like the one in the Huda Beauty palette and I made that one work, yeah, go watch that video, because my god, was that that took a time. And then the last one here is the shade Lights Out, and this is a black. Now, even by looking at it, I know it's not the blackest black I've ever used. I already know that. I can see it. It's super soft. It's actually even softer than Blue Moon. It's the softest one in the whole palette. But I know for a fact that this is not my blackest black. The blackest black I have in my palette right now is the Make Cookie Corrupt, I think. But it is super dark, and it's definitely going to work to deepen everything up. And this, now it definitely looks like a rainbow. And I think it will work to deepen everything else up. Again, I'll probably use it in my 3 Luxem palette, which I'm quite excited about. I'm very excited to get more use out of this palette. Alrighty guys, so that is our swatches. It's not all hits so far from the swatches anyway. Like I said, the pink doesn't swatch very well. I say the purple swatch is the worst, but the pink is definitely a close second. And I use it on the eyes and it's fine. So I have high hopes, kind of, not really, of the purple. I'm hoping it works out. We shall see. But the swatches are really nice. I think it works really well. The colours all work well because it's a rainbow. You can just mix and match them together. I think it's really fun. I think the colours I'm going to be able to come up with, or the looks I'm going to be able to come up with, is going to be really fun. I can't wait. So yeah, let's get into actually using this on my face. I already know, but let's see what you guys think about what I do. So let's get on with the look. Alrighty guys, so let's get into our classic horror from LA Splash palette. Today I think I want to play, we are going to do all matte. Like I said in the beginning that I wouldn't normally just do all matte. I don't know why, I always just like having a little bit of shimmer in. I think in my 3 Luxem palettes I'm going to do a combination of like a pigment or a glitter with this palette. But today for my first impressions I want to do mostly matte, minus I might add my inner corner highlight or something like that, but we'll see how that goes. And I'm thinking we might match the outfit. I have a little dress on here, and I'm thinking we'll do mostly red. I want to use a little bit of this pink and see how this works, and I might deepen up with the burgundy sort of shade in here. We may use black if I feel like, but I don't know if I actually will. And I'm thinking just a very simple sort of look. I might do a red lip, I might do a pink lip, depends on how the look turns out. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. I already have some foundation on. Excuse this big hormonal breakout that I have right now. This one here is very sore. But I've got my brows on and I've got my eyeshadow primer on. It's all going to be listed down below, so you can check down there for the details. And let's get into the look. So I'm taking my BH Cosmetics Rose Gold set, or mostly that set anyway, for the eyes, and I'm going to use the number 6 brush. So there is 2 big fluffy brushes. This is 6 and this is a 5, which is even bigger. I'm going to leave this one clean because I might use that to blend it out, but I'm going to use the slightly smaller one, the number 6 brush. And we're going to actually start with the red. And yeah, we're just going to go to town with that one. This one is the shade 13th, which is obviously Friday the 13th inspired. I love the names of this palette. I think it's beautiful. We'll just see how the shadows actually work. So I'm just tapping it off because I don't know how the fallout's going to be, and we're just going to pop that on to the outer corner. Oh, it's quite pigmented. Seems like it's going to blend okay. I'm just going to kind of pull it out a little bit in a slightly winged out shape. Kind of like that. And I'm actually going to bring that right across the lid, but leaving the inner third of my eye open. I'm going to actually zoom it in a little bit just so you can see a little bit better. Yes, my hair is wet in braids because I want it to be nice and wavy, and I like to do that while it's wet, otherwise it just goes really like crimped looking. Where with this I'll go just a bit more wavy because I'll take it out just before it's completely dry. And yeah, that's usually how I get a nice beachy wave. I just let it air dry in braids. I'm taking this kind of into the crease and then leaving the gap on the outer corner, and I'm bringing it into the crease because this will obviously be our blending colour for everything. I'm going to go in with my clean brush now and just start blending all of this out. Make sure we blend in here nicely. And you can always add more of the red if you need to, but I just want to get a nice edge going. Okay, so I'm getting some fallout from that red, but that's okay. There's actually not much on this side where I really tapped it off, but this side I actually packed, not that I packed a lot on, but I didn't tap as much off, so I would definitely recommend tapping it off. So let's move on to the pink. I want to get a little bit of that on, and I'm going to stick with my rose gold set from BH Cosmetics, and this is a number 8 brush, which is a flat but dense brush, and I'm going to go in with the shade Zombie, which is the pink here, and this is going to go on that little gap we left on the inner part. I don't know how this is going to work with, I mean, it comes off quite bright, it looks quite bright. We'll just see how we get on. Oh, it is bright. Sometimes colours like that, they can kind of dilute a little bit. This doesn't seem like it has. And that red is quite a true red. It's not a red that goes like a raspberry pink kind of colour. It actually does stay quite red. And then this pink is like super neon, which I like. Obviously they blend quite easy into each other. The texture is very much the same. So the texture blends easy together. But the colour themselves, obviously red is in the pink, so it's going to blend easy together. But they blended way easier than I thought they were going to. And I quite like it. I'm liking it so far. I'm surprised. I don't always love a matte look, like completely matte look. So now what I'm going to do is take a MAC 219, which is a little pencil brush. Any sort of pencil brush will do. I'm going to take a little bit of that red, the shade 13th. We're just going to run that along the lower lash line. I'm not going to blend it out too much because I still haven't done my under eye concealer and I have to tidy up a lot of fallout. So I just want to get the colour down. And also bringing it just a third of or 2/3 of the way in, leaving that inner third open. Make sure you connect it to the outer corner. Okay, as far as I can see, I didn't get any fallout from the pink anyway. Just the red so far, so that's quite good. Yeah, I'm liking this. So before I do my under eyes or anything like that, as in tidy anything up, I'm going to go in with a Makeup Geek pointed crease brush. It's just a stiffer blending brush. It's a smaller blending brush, but it's not quite as small as, say, the pencil brush, but it's kind of in between the two, so whatever. We're going to go into the shade Nightmare, which is the burgundy, which is obviously Nightmare on Elm Street. And it's also kind of the colour of Freddy Krueger's shirt. So this is going to be used to deepen up. I don't know how deep it's actually going to go. Like, it does look darker than the red, but it might not be dark enough. I may add the black in, I'll see. But this is going to go on the outer corner, just mostly to deepen it up in a V shape. Oh, it is deepening it up. Oh, I'm also taking a little bit of that on the very tip of the brush because it does come to a little point. And we're just going to use that to darken the lower lash line. So I'm not going to do any more blending with that yet. I'm going to go in with my cleaner brush and make sure it's all nice and blended. What I'm going to do now is tidy up my under eyes, do my concealer. I might put a bit of powder on. I may take my hair out because it's pretty much as dry as I want it to be. It's a little bit damp, but it'll air dry a bit more when it's out of the braids. And yeah, I'll be back in a sec. Alrighty, so I have concealed my face. I didn't put any powder on yet because I want to just make sure that I don't get any more fallout. I took my hair out of its braids and it's still a little bit damp, but we'll get there, and I quite like how it looks. Yeah, I put my concealer on and let's work on the lower lash line a little bit more. So for this, I'm going to go back into the shade Zombie on the same brush, just using the very tip of it that we used for that shade. And pop that on that little gap on the inner part in here, just to match the top. Okay, I'm just going to show you this part on camera because it's part of the eye look. I'm going to take the cheek highlight that I'm going to use. This is the Wet n Wild Hello Halo blush lighter in the shade Highlight Bling. It's the lightest shade, and there's a shimmery blush which I'm going to use on my blush as my blush. And this is going to be my highlighter, so let's go in with that. And I'm going to take a small brush of some sort. I'm going to take a little lip brush just to pop that on. Any sort of small brush, pencil brush. If you want to use one of the brushes you've already used, you can. I'm just going to take a little bit of this, and this is just going to go on that inner corner. Okay, I'm going to jump off again. I'm going to finish off my eyes, finish off my face, and then we'll go through everything that I used on my face, and then we can go through my final thoughts on the palette. Alrighty guys, so this is our finished look. I kind of matched my lip to my eyes, and I'm loving how it looks, but it's a lip you've definitely seen before, because I love this lip. So let's quickly go through everything that I have on my face. So as far as my eyes go, I used my MAC Feline eye kohl. Just in my waterline. I didn't really smudge it down too much, I just popped it in my waterline in between all my lashes. That's kind of it. Then in my mascara, I used my Essence Get Big Lashes just on my top and a lot on my bottom. And also I did a nice big winged liner. So I used a new liner for me because it's new and I've actually been really liking it. And I have another one from them which I've been using as well, which I also love. But this is the NYX Vinyl Liquid Liner. So this is one that you dip in, and it's a liquid, and it's very easy to use, which I quite like. Normally with liquids like that, I find it really hard to use, but that one, it's actually very nice. It's got a brush tip, it's lovely. For my lashes then, this is the box here. This is the Girls with Attitude lashes, and these are the Fantasy Princess lashes. You can get them in Primark and Pennies and all that, and they are online as well. I have seen them online. Then for my cheeks, I used my MAC Mineralized Blush in the shade Humor Me, which is like a warm kind of brown shade, which I use as my contour. And as my blusher, I didn't actually do any cheek highlighter. I just went with the blusher because it is quite shiny anyway. I used that same blush lighter from Wet n Wild. My mind went completely blank there. It's the Highlight Bling, and I just used the blush side for it, and you can see it's quite shiny. So I didn't really need any highlight, and I used the highlight side on my inner corner on my eyes. My lip then is the LA Splash Classic Horror. Shocking, I know, because I use them all the time. And this is in the shade Siren. It's a deep pink, and I love it. I think it's really nice. It ties in nice with the pink that's on the lid. I was thinking about going for also the Classic Horror shade Howley, which is a red. It matches the red of my top and it matches the red on the eye. But it started to look a little bit Christmassy. I kind of wanted it to be a bit deeper than that. So the Siren is a little bit darker, has a little bit more depth, and it still ties in nice with the pink, which I preferred. So that is everything that's on my face. Alrighty guys, so this is everything. This is my first impressions with the Classic Horror palette from LA Splash. I love this palette. I love the artwork on it. I think it's stunning. I want them to come out with more stuff in this range of the Classic Horror because I just think it's so fun. More liquid lip colours, cheek colours, more lashes, glosses, I don't know, anything like that I think would be very fun. And I love the colours of it. It's a super bright kind of colour scheme, which you would think is a bit weird for a horror sort of themed palette, but I really like it. It's all matte, which like I said before is not something I always go for. I do like a shimmer, and I would love to see them, LA Splash, come out with a shimmer formula because these mattes are really good. So I'd like to see what they do with a shimmer formula, but in the Classic Horror range. I know they have a Great Gatsby palette, and I think they have another one, something else. They do shadows anyway. So I'm sure they have shimmers in that, which I haven't tried, but I love the theme of this, so that's why I went for this one. It's all matte, like I said, and yeah, not something I always go for. I'll probably be pairing it with shimmers and pigments and glitters in my 3 Lux One palette. And yeah, but I really like it. I think it's really nice. I know, like, the purple I know is always hard to kind of formulate, but it's way better than the one that's in my Huda Desert Dusk palette. And it does feel a little bit grittier when you're kind of swatching it. It's probably just whatever pigments they use, the way they have to make them, but I find it's really nice still. It builds up really nice. It does take a bit longer to build up than, say, the reds and stuff like that, but yeah, I like it. I think it's very fun. I think I love the names. I love everything about it. No issues with it, and I cannot wait to do more looks with it. So yeah, if you did like this video, then give me a big thumbs up down below. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this look? Have you ever used this palette? Do you know anything from LA Splash? Do you like them? I love their liquid lip formula and their eyelashes. So yeah, I love them. I think they're awesome. And they have like shared 1 or 2 of my pictures on Twitter, I think it was, which is pretty fun because I always, it was actually with this lip on because I always wear this lip. So yeah, also don't forget to subscribe down below to, number 1, help me get to my goal of 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm slowly but surely getting there, so please help me get there. And 2, you will see more spooky season looks coming up. I have a lot more coming up. I've got more costume looks. I've got my 3 Lux One palette for this palette coming up. I have got my kind of just spooky sort of face thing. I don't know what I'm trying to say. My spooky kind of looks that aren't costume looks, that aren't like actually scary looks or like glam looks. My spooky glam, that's what I'm trying to say. And also I've got some tags coming up, and I've got, it's lots of fun, and everything after Halloween as well. So yeah, I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye.